Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how I made this plus size bralette. It's very easy to make. So the top has this diamond pattern going on down here, and with this pattern you are going to adjust it accordingly. You don't have to make this many. I made 4 shapes, but you can choose to make one, just one in the center of your top, like right where we joined the 2 cups from, or if you want, you can make it just exactly as I made this one. Measuring from this point, from where the top starts to where it ends, it measures 37.5 inches. So that's how wide my top is. With the bra cup, you can make it as big as you wish, but I'll be giving you the instructions on how I made mine. We're going to start by making the bra cups, and then after making the bra cups, we are going to make this extension, okay, on both sides. And once we are done with that, we join in the middle. After that, we work on this bottom part, and then after we do these shells around the top all the way up here, and then the last thing we're going to do is make the straps, which are made of shells, as you can see. And then we also have this chain going on at the, we're going to use this to tie at the back of the top, as you've already seen in the picture. So with all that being said, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and yeah, let's dive into the tutorial. We're going to start off with a slip knot, and this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a loop like this, insert my fingers in the loop, and then I'm going to pull this strand that's on top, like so. Then insert my hook. Then I'm going to make a chain of 20, and this is how you chain. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and I'm going to keep repeating this until I have 20 chains. And after that, you are going to hold on to that last stitch like so and add 3 more chains, and this is going to work as our turning chain. Then you're going to yarn over and skip those 3 chains you just made, and in the 4th make a double crochet. I'm going to turn my chain and work in the back bumps of the chain. Okay, so skip 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th insert your hook and make a double crochet. 2 double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We do that again, yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And that's what you're going to keep doing until you get to the end of the row. This is what I have, and I have 1 stitch left here, and we're going to work into this together, and we're going to do something different. So to work in this last stitch, you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through, and then in that same space you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, and make a 2nd double crochet. Chain 1, yarn over, and back in that same chain, that last one, you're going to make 2 more double crochet. Make 2 more double crochets, and you should have something like this. After that, you're going to yarn over, and in the next stitch, leave alone this one we just worked into right here. So this is the next stitch for me right here. Yarn over, insert your hook in that stitch, pull up a loop, and make a double crochet. And then I'm going to keep making 1 double crochet in every stitch. If you have to, you can get a stitch marker and mark where we chained 1 so you don't get confused about it. Though I know for me I would tell where I placed it, but if you are a beginner, I recommend that you put a stitch marker. Okay, so this is what I have, and once you get to the end, remember not to skip this chain 3 that we have here. Make sure you place there a double crochet. I'm going to remove this stitch marker, honestly. It's making noise. So place there a double crochet like so. And at this point I have a total of 22 double crochets on this side. That is before the chain 1 that we have here. Then I have 22 at the bottom as well. So that's the best way to know that your work is even. You need to have the same number of stitches after the chain 1. Okay, so depending on how many chains, it's very important that you count the stitches that you have here before the chain 1, because you need to have the same number of stitches on the bottom part or on the other side of your work. So that's our first row. We're now going to start row 2. Chain 3, turn your work, yarn over. This chain 3 is counting as our first double crochet, so you're going to make a double crochet in the next stitch. So insert your hook, leave this alone, but into this next stitch make a double crochet into the next, double crochet into the next stitch, and you're going to keep going, making 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to the chain 1 space. So once you get to the chain 1 space, you're going to place there 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Then you're going to chain 1, yarn over, and in that same space you're going to go back with 2 double crochets. After that, you're going to yarn over and make 1 double crochet on top of every stitch until you get to the end. So you can pull this a little bit so you're able to see this first stitch. Do not skip it. So place there the double crochet and make 1 double crochet in every stitch. I have 1 stitch left and I'm going to place there a double crochet, and this is the last chain that we have. So insert your hook on top of the 3rd chain and make your last double crochet, and after that you're simply going to repeat row 2. Chain 3, turn your work and make 1 double crochet on top of every stitch until you get to the chain 1 space. Once again, when you get to the chain 1 space, you're going to place there 2 double crochets, chain 1, then 2 more double crochets in the same space. After that, keep going with 1 double crochet on top of every stitch until you get to the end. At the end of the row, make your last stitch, chain 3, and repeat row 2 and 3. Okay, repeat row 2 and 3 over and over until you have your desired length, or until you have the number of rows that you need. I'll keep going until I have a total of 10 rows, and then I'll be back so we can do the rest. Alright, I'm back, and this is how my work looks. I have made a total of 10 rows, and you should be having something similar to this. The next thing we're going to do is extend this part, starting from where we left off with the 10th, from the 10th row. We are going to crochet 1 double crochet halfway, and then we shall keep extending this part, and then we shall do the same thing with the second bra cup. So you're going to chain 3 and turn your work, then make 1 double crochet in every stitch. Just make sure that you don't work all the way up here. I think I'm going to work a few stitches, and then I'll let you guys know how many stitches I worked into. Simply double crochet in every stitch halfway. I like doing this because it helps to cover the bra. Like if I'm wearing a bra inside this crochet bralette, it always comes in handy, especially for us, the big girls. So I have worked in 18 stitches, counting this chain 3 as my first stitch. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Once you get to the end, you're simply going to chain 3 and turn your work. Remember, the chain 3 counts as our first stitch. So you're going to yarn over, leave this stitch alone, but into the next, you're going to insert your hook and make a double crochet, and you're going to make 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to the end. After that row, you're going to chain 3, turn your work, and then you're going to make 1 double crochet on top of every stitch, and you're going to repeat this pattern until you have your desired length. So all you have to keep in mind is that you're going to make a second bra cup, and when putting this on, you want to leave some space at the back because we're going to have a drawstring which is going to crisscross at the back, so keep that in mind. Remember to make a stitch in this last stitch here, which is the chain 3, turn your work, and then you're going to repeat those 2 rows over and over until you have a desired length. I'm going to do the same, and I'll be back once I have a few rows completed. I'm back, guys, and I have completed this part as well, and this is how my work is looking, and you should be having the same. So at this point, I'm going to measure from here to this point so you guys can see how long it is. And as you can see, it's about 7.5. Now what you're going to do is repeat what we just did with this first bra cup and make a second one. This is how it looks. It's the same, but what you need to keep in mind is this has to be on the opposite side. Okay, like this. You don't want these to all be facing in the same direction. You want it to be the opposite of the other. Okay, so now that we have our 2 cups completed, this is how your work should be looking. You are going to identify which part you'd like to be the right side and which one you'd like to be the wrong side. For my case, the first row indicates which one is the right side. So this one is the right side for me, and I have the same for the second cup. Now what we're going to do is join the two cups together, and then we start working on the bottom part, and then we shall later work on this top part. Okay, so we're going to join the two together, and we need to join this from the wrong side. So I'm going to flip it and have this side up. I'm going to get my yarn, and since I have this strand right here, I'm just going to attach the yarn. I shouldn't have cut it, or I should have left a longer strand, but it's all good. All right, get your hook, and we are now going to join these two together. All right, now you're going to insert your hook in the very first stitch, which is the chain 3. So insert your hook in that, then insert your hook in the first stitch for the other cup, then pull through the yarn, chain 1 just to secure it, and then we're going to make 1 single crochet in both cups like this, single crochet into the next, making sure that you go through both sides. Insert your hook through both cups at the same time and make a single crochet. I'm going to repeat this for a total of 15 single crochets, and then I'll show you guys how it looks. All right, I have joined 15 stitches right there, and this is how it looks. This is the wrong side, and then this is the right side. All right, we're now going to, after the last single crochet, you're going to go back with a slip stitch like so, then chain 1, then cut off the yarn, leaving a long tail. Pull that tight. So now we have attached the two cups together, and the next thing we're going to do now is work around this bottom part. I'm going to again reattach my yarn on this strand. So now we're going to make double crochets. So I'm going to insert my hook in this first stitch, chain 3, and then in this first row I'm going to make 2 double crochets. The chain 3 is counting as my first stitch, so now I have 2 double crochets here. Then in the next I'm going to make 2 double crochets, and I like to pull a little bit of yarn from the next stitch, because when you go straight like this, I feel like sometimes it leaves a big gap, and this serves as an example right here. So I can do it like this by pulling a little bit of yarn from the next stitch, and as you can see, you see the difference now. So into the next, we are going to insert our hook and make 2 double crochets like so. Make 2 double crochets again in the next row, and we're going to keep going making 2 double crochets in every row. This is how it should look. All right, I'm going to keep going like this until I get to this side of the top. So I'll meet you here, guys. All right, I'm back and I have this last row left, and I'm going to make my 2 double crochets in this last. So with the last row, you guys remember what we did here at the beginning? We have the first stitch right coming through this last stitch right here. I don't know if you can see it, like you want this to be straight. So we're going to make our last stitch right on top of this last stitch right here. So you want your work to look like this. All right, now we are going to start with our pattern for this bottom part. Chain 3, turn your work, and then you're going to make 1 double crochet in the next 20 stitches. So this is 1, this is coming out of this first stitch, so into the next I'm making a double crochet, and I'm going to keep making 1 double crochet on top of every stitch until I have a total of 20. So here is the thing with this pattern that we're making at the bottom. The diamond shape is random, like there's no need for you to count your stitches. All you're going to look at your work and see where you'd like the pattern to be. So it will depend, you have to decide on that. And this is how we start the diamond shape. You're going to chain 1, yarn over, skip a stitch, and double crochet into the next. So you have this gap right here, and you're going to make 1 double crochet on top of every stitch until you get to the part where you want your next diamond to start from. All right, so I'm going to put my next diamond right here. I'll put the next one here. So I have chained 1, I'm skipping 1, and into the next I'm going to make a double crochet. Then I'm going to make 1 double crochet in every stitch until I get to the next spot where I want to start the diamond shape from. Excuse me guys, I'm doing this as I go, so please bear with me and crochet along. We can do this. Okay, so this here is the center of my top. Like this is where I joined the middle part from. So I'm going to chain 1, skip this next stitch, and double crochet into the next, double crochet into the next stitch, and I'm going to keep going like this until I get to the next spot. And what I'm going to do at this point is I think I'm going to count the stitches I have here in the middle, and then that will give me where to place my next diamond pattern. Okay, so I have counted the stitches I have between each of the diamond shapes here, and I have a total of 33. So here I have made 33 as well, and that means the next thing I'm doing here is chaining 1, skip a stitch, and double crochet into the next to create my next diamond. And then I'm going to do the same for the stitches I made right here to get this last diamond shape. So I hope that is not confusing. So I have 19 stitches here, and that means I'm going to make a total of 19 and then make my next diamond shape. This is the 19th one. I'm going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and double crochet once in all the rest of the stitches. Then on top of this last one, place there your last double crochet to complete the row. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. So I have 15 here and I have 16 on this other side, but it really doesn't matter what you have at the end here. It doesn't matter. What matters is your diamond shape coming out the way it's supposed to. All right, for the third row, we're going to chain 3, turn our work, and we're now going to make 1 double crochet until we have 1 stitch left here, and then I'll show you what to do. So until you get to 1 stitch before the chain 1. Once you have 1 stitch left to the chain 1 space, you're going to chain 1 and skip that next stitch, and then make a double crochet in the chain 1 space. So yarn over and insert your hook in the chain 1 space and double crochet. Then chain 1, skip this next stitch, and into the next make a double crochet, and you should have this. Now we're going to continue working until we have 1 stitch left before the chain 1. Okay, here we are, and as you can see, I have 1 stitch left here, and then the next is the chain 1 space. I'm going to chain 1, yarn over, skip that next stitch, and double crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 1, skip the next stitch, and double crochet into the next. You should have this. We are going to repeat this. So I'm now going to make double crochets until I have 1 stitch left to the chain 1 space. I think this one is a bit loose, so I'll do it again. Alright, I have 1 stitch here and I have the chain 1 space. I'm chaining 1, skipping the next, double crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 1, skip the next, and double crochet. This is how my work is looking so far, and I'm going to repeat this for the next 2 diamonds. I'm going to do the same thing here, and then I'll be back so we can do the next row. Alright, so as you can see, I started my 4th row, and this is where I'm at. So once you have 1 stitch left to the next chain 1 space, again you're going to chain 1 and then place a double crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 1. Then you're going to skip this next stitch and double crochet into the next chain 1 space, like so. Then chain 1, skip the next stitch and double crochet into the next. And that's what you should have. And as you can see, at the end of each row, we are increasing. So we had 1 here, now we have 2, and here we have 3. And I'm now going to make 1 double crochet until I have 1 stitch left to the chain 1 space right here. Alright, so once you get here again, you're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch and double crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 1, double crochet in the chain 1 space from the previous row, and you have to skip this middle stitch right here, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next. And this is what you should have. And now I'm going to do that again when I get to the next chain 1 space. Okay, and again I'm going to chain one, skip this next stitch and double crochet in the chain one space, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next chain one space, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. And I'm going to repeat this pattern when I get to this point, so go ahead and finish. I'll meet you guys back at the end. Okay, do this same thing we just did here, you're going to repeat it on this end. All right, so this is the end of row 1 2 3 4. This is the end of row 4, and this is what you should have. Okay, I'm going to show you guys one more time the next row, and then we shall yeah, let's do that. Chain 3, turn your work, double crochet in every stitch until you have one stitch left to the chain one space. All right, once you get back to this point, you're going to chain one, skip the next stitch just like we did on the previous row, chain one, skip the next stitch and double crochet in the next chain one space, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet in the chain one space, chain one, skip a stitch and double crochet into the next stitch, and then double crochet until you have one stitch left to the next chain one space. Okay, this is what you should have, and that is going to be the pattern that you're going to repeat until you have enough boxes. So I want to have a total of 6 boxes. So far I have 1 2 3 4, yeah, 4, and I want to have 6, and then after that we're going to decrease. So I'm going to continue with this pattern, and then once I have my 6 boxes I will be back so I can show you guys how to decrease and do the rest. All right, I'm back and I have 1 2 3 4 5 boxes for this last row that I made. We are now going to start decreasing, and we are going to like have this shape, the diamond shape. Okay, so I'm going to show you. So I have made, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 rows of increase, and row 6, yeah, row 6 we are going to start on decreasing. All right, remember previously we would skip this stitch, but this time we're going to work on top of it, and then we're going to place a stitch in the chain one space, chain one, skip the next stitch, double crochet in the chain one space, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next chain one space, chain one, skip the next stitch, double crochet into the next chain one space, and once you have one space left you are going to you're going to chain one and place a stitch in this last space like so, and then place a stitch on top of the next stitch. You should have something like this. So we have 1 2 3 4 spaces, and by doing it like this we are making the decreases that we need. And after that you are simply going to make 1 double crochet on top of all the double crochets you have until you get to the next chain one space, so I can show you what to do next. When you get to the chain one space, you're going to place a stitch right in that chain one space, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet in the chain one space, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next, chain one, double crochet in the next chain one space, chain one, double crochet in the next chain one space, and then make 1 double crochet on top of the stitches that you have after that until you get to the next chain one space. So just in case you wanted more boxes, like more increase, you will have to make more boxes than what I made. Like if you wanted this to be bigger, you'll have to make more than the 5 boxes that I made. So you would have to increase some more before getting to this part. So we're basically working in the first stitch before the chain one space, and then placing a stitch in the chain one space at the beginning, and at the end we are doing the same thing. I'll show you guys one more time how to decrease for this row, and then we can move on to the next. Again, once you get to this part, you are going to work in that next stitch and double crochet in the chain one space, chain one, skip the next stitch and double crochet in the chain one space, chain one, and double crochet into the next chain one space, and you are simply repeating the same thing we just did here. So I'll keep making 1 double crochet until I get to the next chain one space, and then I'll repeat this same pattern. Okay, so I'm going to finish this row, and then I'll start my next row. Then I'll meet you guys at this point so I can show you how to decrease again. Okay, so I'm now working on row, let me see, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I'm working on row 8, and we are again going to decrease here by making a stitch in those first 2 stitches that we are skipping on these first rows, then chain 1 and double crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, double crochet. So I'll keep going until I get to the next chain 1 space, and this is basically the pattern for decreasing. When you get to this point, you make your double crochet on top of that next stitch, double crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain 1 space, and then continue making 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to this point, and then you repeat this same thing that we did on these 2. So as you can see how it's decreasing, on the previous row we had 1 2 3 4 boxes, and now we have 3 boxes. So the next row after this one is going to be 2 boxes and then 1 box. Okay, so that's the pattern for decreasing. I'm going to keep repeating the pattern until I get to the 1 box, and then I'll be back so we can add the straps, okay, and finish this tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. Before we move to the straps, we are quickly going to make a row of single crochet around the bottom of our top. You're going to chain 2 and turn your work, and in that very first stitch you're going to make a single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next, and you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch until you get to the end. I'm at the end of my single crochet row and I have one stitch left here, and I'm going to place there my last single crochet right there. And at this point, this is how your work should be looking. We're not going to cut off our yarn, so we are just going to continue going upwards, and then we'll make it all the way to the straps. So you're going to chain 3 and skip 1 row, and into the next we're going to make a shell. So you're going to insert your hook in that second row. I like to pull up a strand from the next stitch. So here I'm making my shell of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in the same space. This is how your work should be looking. Yarn over, skip the next 2 rows, and in the third you're going to make a shell of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. And at this point, this is what you should have, and you're going to continue skipping 2 rows and then making a shell in the third row. Okay, so this is what you should have. Next, you're going to skip the next 2 rows, and in the next stitch, because from here we're going to work into the actual stitches. So skip the next 2 rows, and on top of the next stitch you're going to make a shell. So simply make 3 double crochets in that same space, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in the same space. This is what you should have. Then you're going to yarn over and skip 4 stitches, and into the 5th you're going to make a shell of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. Skip the next 4 stitches, and in the 5th you're going to make a shell of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. This is what you should have. When you get to the end, I have 6 stitches left here, so I'm going to skip 5, and then I'm going to make a shell in that last stitch. So I'm going to place there 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in the same space. And we're now going to continue making shells. So you're going to skip the next 2 rows, and in the next row you're going to make a shell of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in the same space. And you're going to repeat this until you get to the first side of the cup. So you're going to skip the next 2 rows and then make a shell in the next one. When you get to the side of the cup, you're going to yarn over and you're going to skip the next 4 stitches, and in the 5th you're going to make a shell. Skip the next 4 and in the next make a shell. And you're going to repeat that, guys. You're going to keep skipping 4 and making a shell in the next. It's that simple. Once you get to the top of your cup, this is what you should have. We're now going to cross over to the other side of the cup. So you're simply going to just continue making 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space until you get to where we attached the 2 cups from. So once you get to this point, this is how your work is going to look. You're going to make 3 double crochets in one space instead of making the 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So make the 3, skip 2, and then you're going to skip 2 on the other side of the cup, and then in the 3rd, that is where you're going to make 3 double crochets as well. And that's all. That's what you need for this part. And after that, you're going to continue skipping 4 and making a shell in the 5th stitch. And you're simply going to repeat the same thing we did for the other side of the cup, like the entire thing, and I'll meet you guys back once we are done with that part. Okay, everything we did on this cup, you do on the second one. I'm back, guys, and this is how my work is looking at this point, and I'm happy with the results. Okay, so now I'm just going to finish off this row, and then we shall head over to make the straps. And to seal this off, I'm going to end it with a double crochet in the very last stitch. Chain 1, and then you can cut the yarn off at this point. Pull that strand tight, and we are now going to start working on the straps. Okay, and this is how we're going to do it. Alright, we're now going to make the straps, and here is how we're going to do it. You're going to make a slip knot, and then as you can see here on top we have these 2 shells, and we're going to insert a hook in one of the shells. Like so. Then you're going to chain up 3. And after that, you're going to yarn over and you're going to insert your hook in this chain 2 space from the previous round. Ignore this first row that's on top, but this one right here, you're going to insert your hook right there. you're going to have to pull that you're going to have to pull your yarn up a little bit and then make a shell. And this is what you should have. And then finally, to complete the row, you're going to make a double crochet in the chain 1 space. There you have your first row. Chain 3, turn your work, and in the chain 2 space, you're going to make a shell of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. Then you're going to end with a double crochet right on top of this this chain 3 that we started with. So insert your hook and make a double crochet. This is what you should have. Chain 3, turn your work, yarn over, and in the chain 2 space, make a shell of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. After that, you're going to yarn over and make a double crochet on top of the chain 3. So insert your hook right there and double crochet. And that is what we're going to keep on repeating until we get our desired length. For my case, I'm going to repeat making these shells until I have 30 in total. So right now I have 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to keep going until I have 30 of them. And then I'll be back and show you what to do next. Alright, I'm back and I have completed my 30 of these shells. So here is how you end. This is how you end it. You're going to yarn over and simply make your last double crochet, chain 1, then pull tight. You can make this for as long as you wish it to be. And now we need to repeat what we did here on the back of our top. I'll show you guys. I already did it on this side, and this is what we need to make again. Okay, you can see what we have here. These two will meet on top of your shoulder, and then you can tie them. Just simply tie a knot. So now we're going to make the back strap, and I'm going to make mine on this second shell from the corner right here. And to do that, I'm going to insert my hook in this 3rd stitch, make a slip knot with my yarn, then attach it, chain 3, yarn over, and in the chain 2 space you are going to make a shell of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space, and then you're going to end with a double crochet on top of this 3rd stitch. So skip the next 2 and into the 3rd, make a double crochet, chain 3, which works as your first double crochet, turn your work, yarn over, make a shell in the chain 2 space, a shell of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in the same space. Then make your last stitch on top of that last chain 3 from the previous row. So I'm going to keep going, and then I'll be back once I have 30 rows completed. Alright guys, so now this is what we have. This is what we are working with so far. We are done making the straps for our top. And as you can see here, I have this long chain that is going to go through the back, and we need 2 of these for the back. So I already made mine, and I'm now going to make the second one. Okay, make a slip knot, attach the yarn, and simply make a chain and let it be for as long as you wish. All right, and once you're done making your chain, cut off the yarn and pull this tight. Then you can tie a few knots. Then cut off the excess yarn. Then I still have this. So get the darning needle and weave in all the excess strands that you may have. With the chain 2 spaces that we have here, or these big spaces that we left behind, you can pull these chains back and forth, crisscrossing. So you can just keep crisscrossing this to the back of the top. And there you have it. Then these 2 will be tied over the shoulders, just like you guys have seen in the pictures. It really doesn't matter how you tie it, but and this brings us to the end of today's tutorial, guys. Thank you for watching.